Brady. Brady looking to throw it. Touchdown. Mike Vrabel. Brady still has it and throws to the end zone for the touchdown. Fauria is second of the day. Brady to Christian Fauria.
Look at this. How could this not motivate you? This is what it's all about.
Getting a little jacked right now.
Guy's
I gotta
pretty
be fired up.
Guy's pretty good, isn't he? I'm not
me?
talking about you. No, I'm talking about Brady.
Oh,
Brady's
he's
pretty
all
good.
right.
Throwing that Vrabel
Unbelievable.
touchdown, huh?
And
How about you throwing in the Vrabel touchdown? I mean, seriously?
I want to
What's
get.
that about?
Hold on, I want to
He's
get.
not even here.
I want to get to that with Brady. Tom Brady has nicely called in to support his old teammate here as we raise some money for the American Diabetes Association, and so he's on the line right now. Tom, how you doing? Thank you for calling in.
Hi, guys. My pleasure. Proud of the great work you guys are doing. So happy to call in and support you guys.
I'm going to give you some inside stuff with your buddy over here. He does love you. He says wonderful things about you. The only thing he's ever said about you that was really negative, he always says, why didn't he throw Vrabel out of the huddle? We heard that a few times. Is that okay?
Why did I do that?
No,
why
didn't you?
No, he didn't.
Why didn't I throw him out of the huddle?
Yes.
You know, at that point, we put so many defensive guys in offensive positions over the years. So, you know me, I don't get much say in those types of things.
You know, what used to drive me crazy, we've had Vrabel on, I've talked to him off air too. What always drove me crazy is we were sitting there in the huddle, and sure enough, here comes Vrabel with that, cat that ate the canary grin on his face, just knowing that he was upsetting the apple cart and just loving himself for doing it.
I know. He loved it. And I know it was funny. We practiced against the Texans at the Greenbrier. This was probably like 3 years ago. He was coaching for the Texans at the time. And we had a low red area pass period. And he ran over and toward the offensive huddle and kind of brisked the front of his jersey. And he said, 50 reporting. And it brought back a lot of funny memories. So he was pretty productive down there. I mean, what he did was pretty impressive. But they were too busy double covering Christian.
There you
and
go.
Braves got a lot of free touchdowns.
Oh, he's smiling now. Look at this. He's got that grin.
I'm blushing.
Hey, Tom, I don't know if you know this or not, right? But Vinny Testaverde and Christian actually currently hold the record for the oldest combined age for a touchdown thrown. Now, he's been sweating all year when you guys signed Ben Watson because the minute you throw a touchdown to him, that breaks his record. And he's trying to hold on to this record. So he's a friend of mine, but I wouldn't mind seeing you throw a pass to Ben Watson breaking that record. Could you do that for me?
I didn't know that. So what's the combined age of Vinny and Christian?
It's like 80 years and so many days.
Well, Vinny was like 45 or something
40,
like
yeah.
that. And I was 37 or something.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I'm happy I'm in the position to be able to do it. So if I do it, I will know I'm in great company.
First of all, you have enough records. Okay, can we just it's the one thing that I have that kids. Hey, boys, I do have that record still. It's still sitting up there in the record book somewhere.
80 years,
I would
104
say
days.
the longevity ones are pretty cool, though. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to take one down. It might be this one.
Yeah.
This one might feel the best. I don't know yet.
All right, so talking about longevity, are you sick and tired of answering the question about how long you're going to play?
I think it's just a natural question. I think, for most athletes that are getting older, it's not going to last forever. So at some point it comes to an end and everyone wants to be the first one to predict it. So, I feel like I'm just being honest with myself that, I'm just going to do the best I can do. And, I feel like everything at this point is just gravy. The fact that I get to go out and play professional football at 42 is pretty cool. And, I still love doing it, and I still love the competition. So I don't know when that will ever leave. I don't know if it will ever leave. I don't know what factors will contribute, but just I'm trying to be in the moment. And, if you think about football, too, it's a contact sport. It's not basketball. It's not baseball. I mean, it's any game could be your last game. And, I think it's good to have that perspective, too.
We always wonder, you've accomplished everything. I mean, so much, titles, you name it, awards. And we do wonder, the motivation. Is it more motivating to try to win that next championship, or is there that age? You always talk about 45. Is it motivating to play to 45 or to kind of win that next championship?
Well, I think I've always said 45 just because that was, that's a good goal to set, because that was, that's one that's been pretty hard to get to for most guys. So I think you have to have goals. You have, daily goals, you have yearly goals, and you have long-term goals. So I think for me, it's really just the love of football, and I don't know when or if I'll ever not love it. And that's the thing. It's just, I don't know. I think there's some people that are, maybe great guitarists. There's great chefs. There's great lawyers. There's great artists, actors, you name it. I mean, and I think that, if you really love it, I don't know, why should you stop? You just love it. It's just, I don't know what to or how to explain it other than I love doing it.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me.
We're talking to Tom Brady, and usually guys that play late in their careers, they love it. And obviously, if they get hurt, and you just brought that up, obviously your career ends. But the thing that surprises me, because I've seen so many athletes, late 30s, early, up to, well, maybe not into the 40s, who look at it much differently. It's a generational thing, Tom. You're dealing with players right now that could be your sons, and you're traveling, you're around them every single day. How do you do that? How are you dealing with that part of it?
But that part, I think, is fun for me. So I don't think I think that's an enjoyable part for me, is to, even guys who are, I would say, would be older players in the league, but are still a lot younger than me, like Julian or a guy like Gronk who I played with, or, guys that have been extremely productive, but are still, trying to achieve in their career. So I feel like I can help them a lot too. And I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and experience. And a lot of guys ask me about that experience and about that knowledge. And I think it's up to me to, provide them with answers that have worked for me. And obviously being a part of an organization like the Patriots, 20 years of experience here, that's pretty unmatched. And then to be able to pass that on to guys that are trying to be the best they can be in their young career. So I enjoy that leadership aspect. I really enjoy being able to, talk to guys about, things they can do to improve themselves, their games, so that they can reach their highest potential. Because, I feel like I connect so well with football players. It's like, those are the guys I've been around for the last, 29 years of my life. And if I can help them, because a lot of guys helped me. There was a lot of guys older than me, like, Christian. He was great, a great player, great teammate, just loved being in the huddle with him. And what he brought when I was a younger player, his experience, his charisma, playmaking ability, all those things were just great things that he brought to our team. So I still try to do the same in my part today.
Herm Edwards was on actually yesterday with the Hillman in the morning, and he was talking about N'Keal Harry last year and what he brings. And a lot of fans here he's still a mystery to us. We haven't really seen him all that much yet. And Boston, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we read into things too much, whether it's eyeballs on Twitter or who people are following. And I'll blame Glenn because he started sports radio in this town.
Stop it.
But
Always
we
get
hear
blamed.
you or Bill talk about N'Keal, and maybe you just haven't seen enough of him either. And is it unfair for us to look at it and say, oh, man, they're really short with him. The compliments aren't there. Is it bad to read into it and say maybe they don't like what they're seeing?
No, I think with our team, I think it's what I think we've done over years is not project, expectations for people that put them in an unfair position, that people are expecting things that, are not in my control. If you want to ask someone like N'Keal how he feels he's doing, you should ask him. But to ask me and then put unfair expectations on a younger player, I don't think that's helpful at all. So it's really up to each individual player, not just N'Keal, because I like N'Keal a lot. But everybody's role is earned. And I think that's been the mark of the Patriots, and that's part of the culture is, you got to go out there and you got to earn a spot and you earn a role. And you do that through practice, earning the trust of your teammates and your coaches that you can be counted on, when the moments are their biggest. And, it's unfortunately for N'Keal, he got hurt early in training camp. So he didn't have the development, for when other guys were practicing for over 2 months. So, but he's he's working hard. He's extremely, hardworking. He wants to do it. He's got a great edge about him. I really love that. I really love his tenacity, and he's learning every day, and he's working hard to get better. And I think that's all you can ask of a younger player.
Yeah, and a lot's been made of this offense over the years, and older players come in, they can't quite figure it out. At least that's what we think. Younger players come in, and it's hard for them to kind of assimilate into the offense and figure it out. But from my point of view, all these teams, they all run the same plays, they all run the same route combinations, a post to post. What's the difference between a post for Baltimore or a post for you? So it was a difficult part of this offense, the fact that not that it's just a post, but it's the way you want these guys to run the post route.
Yeah, I think it's two words to me. It's trust and dependability. And I think when I think of trust and dependability, I don't think of that as being on a team where you're 8-8. I think trust and dependability on a level of a championship level team. I think there's a lot of players that, it might be okay to be 8-8, and they've been involved in teams that are 8-8 or less than that, 4-12 or 2-14, and they can make some plays, but it's one thing to make plays on a team that's 2-14. It's another to do it with consistency on a team that's 14-2. And I think, our teams have been typically, competing for our division, competing for the conference championship, and then beyond that. And I think we require a very, very high level of consistency and dependability. And if you don't bring that, then I think other people can fill those roles. So it's not a knock on any players. It's really a credit to the guys that, have been able, look at the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, who's in the game, and that's who the team trusts the most. If you think back to our Seattle game, if you think back to our game against Atlanta, if you think back to the Eagles game, if you think back to the Rams game, who was on the field? And that's who everyone felt in the biggest moment gave our team the best chance to win.
So, Tom, I know you're on the mornings with Greg Hill, and you guys seem to have an awful lot of fun every single Monday morning.
We're so envious.
Yeah. Later in the day, we get to interview Bill.
Are you right? You guys not having fun?
No. We talked to Bill.
I was saying later in the day, we get to talk to Bill. And I was looking for some advice. Christian played for him. Glenn's been friends with him for a while. I'm struggling a little bit. Is there any advice in just sort of having fun with Bill?
Tommy hates Bill hates him.
No,
He hates Lou.
it's a good relationship.
I think he hates us both at times.
Lou. I'm sorry, Lou. It's okay. I don't think it's anything personal. So I feel like he's very consistent and focused. So getting him on a Monday afternoon when he's thinking about our next opponent is probably not the best time to,
So wait, when's a good time?
When is a good day?
Tuesday?
Time.
What do you think? Tuesday?
I would say off seasons are probably.
So we should do Patriot Mondays during the off season.
I like that.
Okay, I'm good. Well,
I
Tom,
know. It might work. It'll definitely be. He'll definitely open up a little bit there, but he's competitive, and I think he doesn't want to give away any. He doesn't want to give away any information that's going to help the other team. So I appreciate that about him.
So we got a pretty cool thing going on today. We talked to Larry Bird earlier this morning. He came on first. You're on now. Bobby Orr's coming on tomorrow. Lou is working on David Ortiz.
God,
He's
so much
promised
pressure.
David
So
Ortiz.
much pressure.
I'm not sure if he can pull it off or not. But we talked to Larry Bird, and I asked him if he had ever met you before, and he said no. And I don't know. I guess all superstars in Boston should hang out in some bar swapping stories. But you've never met Larry Bird, have you?
No, I wish I have, because I've been a big fan of his, and being here for 20 years, I've heard a lot of Larry Bird stories. So that guy was a stud, man. He was everything you'd want in a teammate, the ultimate competitor, clutch. Wanted the toughest assignments. And, against Magic, and they had some great games. But I love Larry. I'm a big fan of his, and he's accomplished a lot more beyond just a player. And I think that's a cool thing as well.
Think about this. He three-time MVP, okay, numerous times, couple times NBA Finals MVP, obviously Hall of Famer, okay, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year. I mean, talk about that's quite a bit.
Well, I think it probably speaks to, how capable he is and what I think if you look at his basketball intelligence, you know, how capable he actually was.
He was raving about you. He was raving about you when he was comparing his matchup with Magic Johnson. We were with him with you and Peyton Manning. We got to get the two of you guys together. We got to get you guys together. Maybe
Next year, when we do
Jerry,
50.
you always help us out in the Jimmy Fun telethon. Maybe we'll fly him in. Maybe we'll work something out. We got to do it, right?
Bring him in. I know, that'd be cool, because I have met a lot of the guys over the years, and Bill Russell, and I met, obviously, Big Papi, and I have so many of the great Red Sox. The younger Celtics generation with Kevin Garnett and Paul and Ray Allen. I've been around those guys, but the old school guys, not as much. Danny, obviously, I have, but not as much with Larry.
He raved about Boston, and you've been here for a long, long time. Well, Foxborough, but it's Boston. You've lived in Boston. Has it settled into you that you're going down as the most beloved and one of the greatest athletes in Boston sports history? Because we're getting these guys on today, and they're already out of the game. You're still in the game. Has that hit you at any point?
I think I've been so blessed to, you know, again, do something I love to do for 20 years in the same place, and to raise my family here. My kids were born on Beacon Street in our apartment. You know, I lived in Franklin. I lived in Quincy. I lived on Boston. I lived on Comev. I lived on Beacon, and now we live in Chestnut Hill. And our kids have been raised here, and it's been an amazing place. And it's a great area for families. And we have great sports tradition, and every year it seems like our teams are right in the mix, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, you name it. We're all competitive. We got great following, so much support from everyone in the community. Even, you know, so many players do so many great things in the community, and it's just it's just a great place in our country. And, you know, we love being here.
All right, last question for me is that, you know, we got a couple good tight ends that work in this building. So one game, one tight end. Who are you choosing? Fauria, Jermaine Wiggins? I'll even throw in Mike Vrabel. How's that?
Well, Mike's not even a tight end, so go ahead.
There's Wiggies here, too.
I like them all. I'd be in Detroit personnel or New York, too tight. I'd get them all on the field.
There you go.
We got some good formation variations. When you got talented players, you got to put them all on the field at the same time. You got to make the defense defend them. So I couldn't choose just one.
All right, we're all taking bets, the entire staff, on whether Christian can make the 25 hours. The over-under is 23.5. You going over or under?
He's absolutely making the 25. So that's the over. I have no doubt about that.
See that?
He'll do it. No doubt in my mind.
That's my boy right there. There you go. That's all the
He'll
motivation I need.
He'll do it.
Let's go!
You forgot another word.
Baby. Let's go.
Listen, we really appreciate you helping out. People can go on to WEI.com/25 and can help the cause with the American Diabetes Association. Tom Brady, thank you very much for being part of it. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Happy to have good luck, guys. Good luck motoring.
All right, man. Thanks,
See you
dude.
later.
Have a great night.
You got it. Tom